Welcome to Handstand Building Blocks. My name's Kingsley. I'll be taking you through this session. So today we're going to be starting the journey to the handstand, all right? This is where it all begins. We're going to be doing wall tuck holds. This is going to build the strength and familiarity of being upside down. The tuck position is going to teach you how to keep your hips above your shoulders and be in a posterior pelvic tilt. Meanwhile, the bails that we're going to be doing is going to teach you how to safely fall out of a handstand. Okay, so we're going to start with a full body dynamic warm-up. So we're just going to plant our feet nice and firm, extend our arms out to the side, clench our fists. We're going to slowly make circles, okay? So we're going to go 6 to 10 circles, so we're slowly getting bigger. We're going to come all the way up until we're at our maximum range of motion here. And then we're going to reverse and do 6 to 10 in the opposite direction, slowly getting smaller. From here, we're going to do some trunk rotations, feet firmly planted initially as we start, and we just rotate around the spine, swinging your arms around, allowing them to move through the range of motion. After about 5 or 6 rotations here, you can pick up the back heel of your opposite leg, turning away from the direction that you're turning. This is going to allow you to get a little bit deeper. You're also welcome to play with the direction of your arms. This is going to change the stretch up your back. All right, now we're going to move our shoulders through extension and flexion. And we're just going to do 6 to 10 here, switching which hand is on top each time you come back and swing up. Now, warming up the lower body with handstands is a little bit less important, but I like to have active tension and active warm body throughout when performing handstands. So we're just going to run through some leg swings. So the first one, you might want to grab onto a wall or a stick or a chair just for some balance here. You're going to swing your leg back and up in front of you as high as you can. So just 6 to 10 here. That's 6, another side. 2, 4, and 6. Now we're going to face the wall for extra balance. We're going to put one leg in front of the other, and then we're going to swing a leg out in front of the standing leg and up to the side. And other side. Awesome. All right, should be feeling a bit warm now. The next most important component with practicing handstands is warming up our wrists. It's not often that we're in this position if you're not already practicing handstands, and having this kind of extension in your wrists can be quite a lot of pressure here. So coming down to the ground here, we're going to start with our fingers spread nice and wide, and our hands are stacked underneath our elbows, which is stacked underneath our shoulders. You're going to externally rotate through the arms so that your inner elbow is facing forward, right? It's not internally rotated like this, externally rotated and facing forward. And we're going to lean forward over the wrists, hold for a few seconds, and pull back. So we're just going to pump here 6 times. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to turn our hands out to our sides, and still keeping our elbows externally rotated, we're going to lean from side to side. With each step, we're going to slowly inch our hands closer together until the hands meet right in the middle. Okay, now we're going to turn our hands around so our fingers are facing us, and we're going to lean our weight back, drawing our hips towards our heels. Make sure your arms are straight all the time. All right, now we're going to come on to the backs of our hands, elbows nice and down on the ground, forearms on the ground, knuckles are together. From here, we're going to try to keep our knuckles in contact with each other and the backs of our hands in contact with the ground as we proceed to draw our forearms off the ground and come through to external rotation. What you might find is that you're limited here and you're feeling a lot of tension through your wrist. At that point, you'll be like, oh, I'm stuck. So you're going to slowly let go of your fingers, and that's going to allow you to get a little bit more range of motion. Just let go enough to come into a full extension here. It might be all the way up here in the beginning. Just keep some tension there and work on getting your elbows into full external rotation. Just 6 here, so that's 4, 5, and 6. So we've just got 2 more. So coming back to the first position, you're going to try to scrunch the ground up, okay? This is a very important application that you're going to learn about more in your handstand journey, okay? It's a bit less important for this building blocks aspect, but you want to start practicing this position, which we call spider fingers, okay? So my first knuckle is on the ground. This is a big, important part, okay? You see there's leverage through these fingers. This is actually where all the balancing happens when you're in a handstand, okay? So what we're going to do here with this warm-up is we're going to scrunch, externally rotate, and then twist. So we're twisting, scrunching, externally rotating. Twist, scrunch, externally rotate. Coming all the way in. Until we're at our maximum internal rotation. And then we're going to come out. All the way into our maximum external rotation. All right, so if your wrist is still feeling a bit stiff, keep doing these exercises, keep warming them up. You really want to make sure your wrists are warmed up, especially in the winter months. Everything's a bit colder, and one of the first things to give out with your handstands is your wrists. So the last little wrist exercise we're going to do, you can apply this at any point throughout your handstand workout. I like to call it the wrist relief exercise. So what we do here is we're going to squash this part of our arm with our leg, okay? So we're going to put this back here and squat down, and that's going to force your hand into a fist. And then you're going to pry them open and then let go, and they'll automatically close. If you're not putting weight down, then it's just nothing's going to happen here. So you see I come onto my tiptoes and really squash my arms, and it forces the hip flexors, the flexors in your forearm to contract, which closes your fingers. So here we just go through this 6 to 10 times. So again, if you're training your handstands and your wrists are feeling they need a little bit of relief, just do a couple reps of this and you'll find that you can keep going. All right, so we've done our warm-ups and now we'll get into the workout. So building familiarity for being upside down. The first exercise we're going to do is tuck bails, okay? So you might want to visit the handstands entrance and exits video, which you'll find in the library, where we go over the 3 main entrances and exits for handstands and how to start building familiarity and confidence with those. So I'm just going to quickly demo the one that you're most likely going to start with, which is going to be some form of a walk up or a sliding tuck up, okay? So what we want to do here is we're just starting to build some shoulder strength, some familiarity being upside down, and the capacity to bail safely, okay? So from here, we stick our hands on the ground. Hands want to be just in front of the shoulders. If you've got very mobile elbows, then you want to actually be slightly inside of your shoulders, okay? So mine's just in front of my shoulders there. Most people want to go wide, okay? We don't want that. We want a nice structural balance. So to have that, we need all our joints stacked. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, hips, knees, and ankles, okay? That's what's going to happen. For this tuck, we're going to come up the wall, and we're pushing nice and tall, okay? So we're elevating the scapula, and we're sucking in our belly button, trying to come into a posterior pelvic tilt. Don't stress about the details too much here. This is just a bail, and we're just going to start building the strength here. So from here, you're going to step a hand out and you're going to kick a leg off the wall and come down. Okay, so when we fall out of a handstand, you want to step your hand out towards the side that your legs are falling down on. You'll naturally feel more confident on one side than the other, okay? Don't stress about trying to get confident on both sides. When you're starting handstands, just limit the variables and try to progress in the journey, okay? So it's not a major, you'll gain more confidence naturally. So we're just gonna run through 5 tuck bails, and then we're gonna take a little bit of rest. If you need more rest, pause it, take some more rest. Okay, so coming into a tuck hold, stepping out, kicking off the wall, and landing. Trying to make this movement as smooth as possible, okay? It's normal for it to, when you're first starting out, for it to be a bit clunky, like that. That's fine. Things will just get smoother. Just have some patience and compassion for yourself, okay? So that's 3, I'll do 2 more. Cool, so that's 5. So with handstands, rest period, I like to prescribe it to rest as needed. It's different for everybody. Some people, handstands are really exhausting. Other people, it's just, not a thing to them. So for me, I'm just gonna keep rolling through this. We're gonna do 3 sets of 5 tuck bails. You're welcome to pause the video and take a little break if you need it, all right? So we're just gonna keep going through this. Notice that I'm stepping my hand out, right? I mentioned it before, but I'll show you what it looks like if I don't. So if I don't step my hand out, it's just a lot more clunky. I'm more likely to fall over. It's just not going to be nice and smooth. You want things to be as smooth as possible, yeah? So you'll notice that I'm probably getting up and down the wall a lot faster than you are if you're just starting this journey. So as I've said, pause the video if you need to, do your 5 reps, rest as you need to, then roll through it again, okay? So I'm gonna move on to my last set here. See, I always go for my left, and with the principle of limiting the variables to progress your handstand in general, I'd encourage you to just go for your comfortable side, but for you to see what it looks like on me going my uncomfortable side, I'll give that a go. So you'll see that I'm hopping up to the wall. Now this is a lot more energy efficient than walking into the wall. A lot of people starting out will do something like this. And this is very demanding, having to push your weight from underneath you to get up. Finding ways to enter the wall smoother and more energy efficiently is going to be in your favor. So last rep here. All right, nice. So that's our tuck bails. If you're just starting out, you're probably feeling pretty tired right now. Take as much rest as you need, okay? We're gonna be moving into tuck holds, okay? So we're gonna hold this for 10 to 30 seconds. What I want you to focus on is elevating the scap, all right? So this is elevation, this is depression, this is retraction, and this is protraction. Okay, so another angle, elevation, depression, protraction, retraction. With your handstands, you want to be elevating as much as you can, and you want to be protracting. So your scapula's not together behind your back, it's peeled out around your ribs. Your hands are pushing nice and tall. You're trying to get your ears to touch your shoulders. You want your hands to directly under your shoulders or just inside like I ran through earlier. So I'm going to set a little timer. I'm just going to go for 15 seconds. If you can hold it longer, I encourage you to do so. I don't have a timer, so, so I'm just going to count in my head and we're just going to roll through it, all right? So coming into the other component, is we're going to be focusing on posterior pelvic tilt, okay? So if this is an anterior pelvic tilt where most people are naturally standing, bum kind of poked out, the top of your hip poking forward. Okay, we want to do the opposite of that, okay? So it's like you're scooping your tailbone in, you're sending the tops of your hips back, and you're drawing your belly button in, okay? This is gonna help you be a lot more stable. We're in a handstand. We're trying to make what is a non-fixed girdle through the shoulders that allows me to have that freedom of movement. We're trying to make it fixed, like our pelvis, right? So I can stand here and I can move my hands however I want. You should technically be able to do that in a handstand once you've built the proficiency to create a stable shoulder girdle, okay? So coming into the handstand, just a tuck handstand here. I'm pushing my pushing my shoulders nice and tall. I'm retracting the scapula, peeling it around the side of my body. I'm posterior pelvically tilting, and I'm trying to work my hips over my shoulders, okay? I'm sucking my belly button into my spine, and I'm holding here. And then coming down. All right, as I said, rest is needed, okay? I'm just gonna take a little bit of rest here. I'm gonna run through that again. Ideally, you're gonna do 3 to 5 sets of 15 to 30 seconds whilst you're starting out, okay? We'll get back into it. Hands down in front of my shoulders. You see that I'm already starting to work in my spider fingers. This is a very important application that it's going to be a part of your handstand journey. Coming up, pushing tall, tucking my pelvis, and sending my hips over my shoulders. Good. And rest is needed. So I'm just going to keep running through these. You're just going to pause the video to take your rest if you need it. If you have the capacity to keep rolling through it, just keep rolling through it. Last set here for me. Play with it a bit. Try to get your hips more over top of your shoulders. Try to see if you can push taller. See if you can make your ears reach your shoulders. And time. All right, so we've got 2 more exercises here. The next one is cartwheel bales. You might be really tired at this point. If you are, that's fine. You're welcome to skip ahead a little bit and do the last exercise, okay? So our cartwheel bale is just like our tuck bale, but we're gonna have straight legs on the wall instead, okay? To really mimic a bale in a handstand, okay? So you can either walk up, like I said, but it's gonna be very demanding on your energy. You're gonna get tired quick. You can also tuck up like I have been, or you can cartwheel in if you're at that point. So I'm just going to cartwheel in for the first one so you can see what that looks like. Doing everything the same here, so I'm trying to push nice and tall. I am protracting and elevating my scap, and I am in a hollow body position with a posterior pelvic tilt. From here, I'm going to step my hand out and kick my leg off the wall. All right. So with this one being one of the last exercises for this sequence, you're going to try to do 15 reps, okay? So you're going to rest as much as you need, but just try to get 15 reps done. If you're feeling just completely burnt out and you feel like you're going to fall on your face, just relax, take it easy. You're going to build some more strength. Fast forward to the next exercise, okay? So I'm just going to run through 3 more of these. So straight legs, stepping out, coming down. And one more for good measure. All right. So the next exercise we're going to do is going to be focusing on your scapula, building that strength that's required to have stable shoulder girdle. Okay, so it's just scapular push-ups. So we're going to come down, depending on your strength level, I'll run through 4 different variations for you. So the first one is on your knees, and you're going to retract the scap, drawing it together on your back, and then protract the scap, peeling them apart. You want to keep your arms straight, okay? It's not a push-up. My arms aren't bending at all. Retract, protract. So you want to work to 5 to 8 reps of these for 3 sets. Now another variation from here you can do on your knees is one-handed ones. So with the non-working hand, you're just going to put it on your serratus anterior. So it's just below your chest here. It's your serratus anterior. You're going to have your hand here. Okay, this is going to help you. It's going to discourage you from dropping your shoulder like this. Okay, we're not doing this. We're bringing the scap to our midline of our back and then taking it away from the midline. And other side. So if you feel like you need a rest, by all means, take a rest. I'm just going to keep running through these. So I'm going to do 2 more sets of 8 with 2 different variations, okay? Progressively getting harder. So the next one's going to be in a full push-up position. So feet together is going to be harder than feet apart, okay? When your feet are apart, you've just got more, your center of gravity is in a more suitable position for balance. So this is a bit of an easier variation than feet together, okay? And you're going to do the same thing. Scaps retract, coming together, protract, pulling apart. That's 1, 2, 3. Try to not make these clunky, okay? I don't want you to drop into it, okay? If you've got delicate shoulders and you've never done this before, you can hurt yourself by being mindless in this movement and just clunking into it. This is my 5th. 6, 7, 8. And rest if you need it. So the last variation is going to be the hardest variation. It's going to be another full push-up position, but with one hand, okay? So bringing the 2 components of the knee scapular push-ups with your hand on your serratus, and the second components of the full push-ups with either your feet wide or close together, okay, increasing the intensity. So I'll start here with my right hand, and I'm going to go for a wide base. I'm going to put my left hand on my scap, make sure my wrist, elbow, and shoulder are stacked, and I'm going to drop down into retraction and push up into protraction. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, this variation is a little bit challenging for me at this point, maybe because I've been doing consecutive reps, but nonetheless, it's an important exercise that helps create stability through the shoulder girdle. So I'm moving on to my left hand. If you need to take more of a rest, do so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is us. I recommend lying down, doing some nice long breaths in through the nose, up through the nose, relax the nervous system. And welcome to the journey of handstands.